Bah, yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again with your boy, He-Bot. And today I'm going to try to talk about, well, first of all, welcome back to Mi Carrito Producción. As you can see, I'm here in my car doing my daily fatherly and husbandly duties, obviously. I want to talk about right now, take some time out to talk about the whole articles that came out from several outlets that were very highly regarded, reliable sources, which I can put down in the description of the statement that was made by a Microsoft exec, and also an interview they had with Aaron Greenberg, where he basically said, no más, for lack of a better term. And basically what that means in Spanish is no more. No more Xbox exclusives will go to other platforms such as PlayStation 4 and Switch, which in reality was really more Switch than anything, other than the deals that were already set in place with the studios like Obsidian and Double Fine for games like Rad, Psychonauts 2, Wasteland 3, and The Outer Wilds. So it came in the eve of all the announcements of Sony acquiring Insomniac, and one of the first statements that Sean Layden did and said on Twitter after the acquisition was announced that Insomniac games will stay completely 100% exclusive to the PS4 or consoles in the future in their platform, their console. And that comes as no surprise. That's been the PlayStation mantra for a very long time. That's what they like to do. So I really feel that, and I told my boys that I guarantee you, because they made the announcement of Ori and the Blind Forest coming to Switch, I said, I guarantee you that wasn't even a Microsoft decision. I said, I guarantee you that was a decision because more than likely, since they don't really own Moon Studios, because their studios is a bunch of people in different countries that I think Skype each other and do work in that way to the computer. And that's how they created Ori. So they're not really a studio set in one place, in one city, in one roof, in one office. And they probably told them, listen, can we put Ori on Switch? Because they saw that Microsoft allowed, making games, or Studio MDHR, whatever, that make Cuphead, put Cuphead there, and people like the people who did Super Lucky Tales, since they helped them bring it to Xbox, I think it's called Playful something, I forget the name, put their game there. And a lot of people may not even know, Hellblade wasn't even supposed to be on Switch. It wasn't a deal done prior to that. It was Microsoft that actually allowed Ninja Theory to put it there, and they published it. And obviously Minecraft, because they bought Minecraft when it was already everywhere and existed everywhere. And I mean, Microsoft could have easily taken that away from everybody and said, no, you want to play Minecraft from this point forward, you got to buy it on Xbox or be on the Xbox ecosystem. So, and they didn't do that. They didn't abuse their power, sort of, quote unquote, like kind of the way Sony is trying to abuse their power with the movie rights with Spider-Man, where now they're trying to ask for stakes on the merchandising and other things like the theme park when they're owned by Disney. And Disney actually paid Sony, I think it was in 2007, for all merchandising rights of anything related with Spider-Man, which Sony came out and said they regretted it in an article. So anyway, and the name and topic of the video is not just to talk about Microsoft making that statement. I also want it to be about how Microsoft has saved developers and IPs this generation, and we really don't give them credit for it. Uh, and I think they've come to the realization that no matter what they're doing, no matter what they've tried to done to this, have tried to do to this point, nobody really appreciates it the way they should. I mean, there's people that do appreciate it, but the minority, the general consensus, if you will, is they don't give them the respect and the appreciation that they deserve. They've done like 6 different things already in projects with Nintendo, and Nintendo hasn't said, yeah, hey, maybe we can put Devil's Third since it's not owned by us. Yeah, we published it, but it was by Valhalla Games, which was Tobunobu's house at that point, and put it on Xbox. Or maybe you could put Bayonetta 3 and maybe even, 2, and keep 3 timed until a year from now, and then you could put it on Xbox as well, because you guys are doing really nice, good things for our platform, our fans, and to our brand, or for our brand. And nothing has happened. It doesn't come to fruition. Nothing has happened since, and people speculate, oh, it's because they're going to do their ecosystem for their online structure. And to be honest, that hasn't been solidified. It hasn't been cemented. It hasn't been confirmed. It's only been pretty much here, back and forth, speculations with rumors, with sources that have gotten their hands on rumors before and said things about rumors, but yet it hasn't been, like I said, 100% confirmed. So I'm glad, and I told my boys, Microsoft is just going to ride it out this generation to keep good perception, to keep people happy with them, or at least try to, until the end of the generation. And when they come to the next generation, they're going to come in with a different mindset, mentality, and approach, with a more aggressive approach and a more of a 360 approach, because they're not going to invest all those billions of dollars on the Xbox Scarlet to already start where they left off with the negativity of the Xbox One, where they where there's articles being written already saying things like Scarlet is already doomed before it releases, because there's no reason to buy it, because Microsoft is putting all their titles on other consoles. And they see everything. They see the numbers, they see the negativity, they see all the hate, the trolling, they see everything on social media and everywhere else, like a YouTube platform, a Twitter, a Twitch, Mixer, wherever. They see it. They see it. And I understand Microsoft has tried to unify this entire generation in a good way, because they tried to help move gaming forward, which they have in many different ways. And they are the most consumer-friendly console and company right now in the industry, alongside the best company as far as giving you the most bang for your buck under their console, their moniker, their online ecosystem, and even their Windows and PCs ecosystem. But I'm glad they came out and said something before the bleeding is too far in and they keep hemorrhaging and they can't fix it or seal it or try to mend the wound. Because the Scarlet is a big investment and they don't want to start off in a low sales type of bracket or low perception type of bracket. And I really think that this is great. Once they said, because they admitted and they said that it was Moon Studios who came to them and asked them if they can put Ori there. And I'm glad that they said that and showed that, because that proves my theory that I said that they were just going to allow certain things, but the minute they would allow certain things, certain developers, since they're smaller, what was going to end up happening is everybody else is going to want to follow suit to get a piece of the pie somewhere else as well, because their numbers in Ori, for Ori on Windows and on Xbox, obviously, since it's been out for a while, have plateaued. So they want to see more money revenue before they go into the release of Ori 2 because they spend money, which Microsoft, I'm sure, is helping them as well, making Ori 2. But the IP of Ori belongs to Xbox. They bought it. They may not own Moon, but they own Ori. And I'm also glad that they clarified, especially Aaron. Shout outs to him. I love Aaron. That 2 will never come anywhere else except Xbox and PC. Because PC is not a threat to Microsoft as a console because they are PC, number one. That's how they started. And number two, the numbers on PC is not the same as consoles. It doesn't reflect. And they profit because they are Windows. They are part of everything that runs PC. So my point is that, it's good that they did this because now there's no more. They shut down now the narrative of, all their games are coming somewhere else. And that's a good thing because they needed to do this. So the arrogance from everywhere else or everybody else can stop. From Sony, from Stadia, from Nintendo, because, even though they have helped industry, people don't show them gratitude or care. And it's a shame. Because it's about the culture and gaming as a whole, right? As a family, right? But I wanted you guys to take out a moment and think about all the things that Microsoft has done for developers and IPs this generation in particular. First thing they did, and that they started with, was with Titanfall, where Respawn was very vocal, and it's all public record, that they went to Sony, they said no, and Microsoft gave them the opportunity and said, yes, you can make the game you want to make. We'll support it, bring it out on our platform, just make it an exclusive. We brought it out, and the game started sales slowly, but little by little, it garnered an audience because obviously it was just 5 months after the launch, and the install base was still very low. It was like at 5 million, according to what Crytek had said with the Rise 2 possibilities after Rise was released. They had said the numbers that it was, that they wanted a higher install base before they consider Rise 2. The game, over its long term that release, it had more than 10 million players. I think it was 11, maybe even 12 it might have reached, which is very good. And yes, they had a copy of it on 360, and yes, they had it on Xbox 360. The PC. But the numbers did not say, it didn't sell like that on PC. I think it sold maybe a million. And then on Xbox 360, it was like 350,000, some shit. I forgot. I read somewhere what the numbers were. Put it like this. The biggest install base and numbers were coming from Xbox One. Because it was running on the, Azure servers, cloud, with the cloud processing that they have for the games. And that's why it performed the best, and was more fast-paced, plus the dedicated servers. Anyway, that's the first thing. And then after they did that, here comes EA, did in the back of the mile run deal, bought them right out their back before they could even have a chance to buy them. Because I guess at that time, remember, Microsoft also didn't have the money and the approval from upstairs, the big dogs, for the Xbox division to make moves like buying studios. And now they do have that. Because of Phil, because of Satya talking and Phil talking with him and convincing him. Then they went and bought Gears of War and secured the IP to make sure that they can make future Gears of War franchise, and hired Rod Ferguson, changed the Black Tusk Studios because they asked them, what do you guys want to be called? They chose to be called the Coalition. After they did that, they hired Rod at the same time. Rod brought in his teams and people that he wanted to work with and stuff of that nature. And after they did that stuff, they now we have Gears of War 4 back. We have Gears of War back, and now we're in the eve close to the launch of Gears 5. Then they went and bought Mojang because the creator went and told them that he couldn't take care of it. It was a lot of work, and that he wanted somebody that had the capital and the manpower, and and obviously the know-how to take care of the property with the clauses in between or whatever, and they did that. They also went and helped Square Enix, even though they did a remaster of the new Tomb Raider for the reboot to make extra money, because according to Square Enix, the Tomb Raider reboot didn't do enough money, and because of Microsoft coming in and helping them financially to publish it and develop the game with the money for the development, they made Tomb Raider 2, which was called Rise of the Tomb Raider, which they let go to the PS4 platform a year later, because everybody kept harping and they found out earlier that that's what they did. But still, the sales did well. It sold about 7 million copies before it even went on PS4 a year later. They did the same thing with Dead Rising 3. They completely funded the game, brought it back after 2 had been a multiplayer, because they didn't do so well on PS3 as well. And the game did well. Dead Rising 3 sold, I think, lifetime sales close to 4.5 million, maybe 5, especially with the cheaper rates that it went down to. It was like a $20 game at one point and things like that. They did the same thing with Dead Rising 4. Difference being, this time around, they let it go to PS4 a year later as well, or not even 10 months later. Then they fucking help making games, or Studio MDHR, that they said they had refinanced their house twice, and they weren't sure that they could bring out the game when Chris Charlotte went out there with the idea of the Xbox team, and they helped them make Cuphead, or finish Cuphead, because Cuphead was just going to be a boss battle type game. Instead, they added levels. They gave them a lot more stuff, right? And they gave them a lot more stuff. Give me 1 second, people. Wait, never mind. I'm almost done anyway. So they basically said, we'll help you. Just give us lifetime exclusivity. And they did that. And instead, they let them still bring it to the Switch, because they didn't own them. And they saved them. And they had success. And they put it on PC. They did the same thing with Ori and The Blind Forest. The only difference is they bought the IP. They did the same thing with Quantum Break. They bought the IP, didn't buy Remedy out, gave them all the time in the world, gave them all the money so that they can they can build these Northlight engine, graphic engine. And after they helped them build it, that's why they had the ability to make Control after they went multiplayer with 505. That's why they didn't want to publish their game, because they wanted to go multiplayer. And they were able to create Control a lot faster because the Northlight engine was done. And that's why Quantum Break took a long time to come out. Also, because the engine was still in development. They did the same thing with Insomniac, because Sony didn't want to make Sunset Overdrive. They didn't want those type of games. They wanted photorealistic games. And they wanted ownership, like they've done with Insomniac. They've owned all their IPs. And Insomniac said, we want to own our IP. Own our IPs. So they did Sunset Overdrive, because Microsoft just has publishing rights. And they let Insomniac keep ownership. And they still put it in PC just a year ago. And it still didn't do well. All these studios and companies and developers that Microsoft has saved this generation and helped this generation, they did it with the same people who did Super Lucky Tale. Same thing. It was a VR game. They wanted it to make it more like a Mario platforming mascot type game for Xbox, according to what they said. And Microsoft liked the idea because they needed mascots, right? Because they didn't have a lot, like Voodoo Vince and Conquer and Blinks. They've been dormant and Banjo for so long. So they said, okay, no problem with those as well. So, and then they still let them put it on the Switch. All those things they've done, and and even like I said, Hellblade with Ninja Theory, and The Outer Wilds with Obsidian, all these things, and people just still don't give them gratitude and the appreciation. They just don't get it, and they don't care. So I think that them doing this announcement is a good thing for them for their future. I get that they want to unify the video game industry, and they're very admirable for that, and I respect them 100% for that, and I will always remember that, and always bring it up, and it'll never leave my sight, my mind, because and none of us should ever forget, because they tried to do something different. But unfortunately, the way that things are in this world, and the reality of it is, that is very cutthroat. And when you're dealing with companies that have to do more like with different origins and orientations, like Japanese, like a Nintendo or like a Sony, the unfortunate truth is that, and the reality of it is that they don't play ball the same way because they don't believe in the same business ethics, ideals, and how to do them like maybe an American company like Microsoft does. So I want you guys to really think about these things. Even the haters that come here, the trolls, and reflect about what I'm saying and think about what I'm saying. Don't just come here real quick, I'm going to troll fat ass Ebot like you guys always try to do. Because I already told you guys, it doesn't bother me. Your immaturities and ignorance really make me laugh. They don't bother me. I'm a grown man. I have thick skin. I mean, I've been through it all. I'm not bothered by things like that. I just laugh. I think it's funny. So, I commend them for that, and kudos to Microsoft for taking that initiative, making that step, and having the courage that we always knew they had, but we also all know, especially us Xbox fans that really love Xbox and know and understand how they do business, that they're just trying to be very professional about everything they do and very respectful while doing it. And that's why people say, they're too kumbaya, right? When in reality, it's just them being professionals. So I'm glad they did that. And I hope that they keep to their word. They don't bend backwards or nothing. So that everybody can see, now what? Because everybody was praising all these games coming to Nintendo. But now if they're not making no more, Nintendo got to make their own stuff. Let's see how much help now Nintendo's going to have. And how much more library expansion they're going to have without games from Microsoft's library. And obviously, Sony ain't never going to share their stuff because they just think about themselves and self-gain. They don't care about the industry developer. They just care about their self-gain. That's why they're having that whole debacle right now with the Spider-Man ordeal, where they want stakes on things they don't even own, like the Spider-Man parts, the merchandising, when Disney already paid them for all that years ago. That's what I want you guys to think about. How much Microsoft has done for the industry to save developers and to save IPs that are here thanks to their willingness to want to help the creators and the games. But they're the ones who hate us, and they're the ones that are trying to take us for suckers, according to many. I don't think so. Very, very misconception, very wrong misconception. Guys, thank you for joining me. It's been an absolute blast making this little video for you and giving out my thoughts. I always do it from the heart. I always do it because I just want to educate with my thought process those who are willing to listen. Leave a like. Leave a dislike if you didn't like it. Share it with someone you think might like it. And as always, like I told you, if you want to leave a comment. Let me know what you think. As long as it's good conversation and not trolling, of course I'll hear you out. I'll answer you back. I'm not that type of person. If you're going to be a troll about it, I'm going to either answer you back with a smart-ass remark, or I'm going to take you out and block you. That's just the way I do things. I don't have time to waste. Life is too short. I got other problems with my own family, my own life that I don't have to be worried about trolls and people that got nothing else better to do. Xbox for life, like a sickness that can't be cured. That's my saying. That's my slogan. Don't get triggered, people. It's just gaming. It's all in good fun. And if you ever want to help me in any way, shape, or form, you guys know what you can do. It's much appreciated. You don't have to. It's all from the heart, and it's all up to you if you want to. Either way, you're still part of my family. See you guys in the next one. Thanks for joining me. Bye.